The Saints cement the Chiefs as favorites to repeat as Super Bowl champs.
And I am so curious who came up with this question, Jenna. This must have been a hard one to piece together in the production meeting. I think it definitely puts them in the driver's seat, and it pains me to say that. But I really like what New Orleans done this season. The fact that they have been able to win as effectively as they have with Taysom Hill has been borderline amazing, and how effective he's been has been the same. Now, that being said, coming off the loss that they had, they're going to get an angry team. They're going to get a focused team. They're going to get a team that's very good defensively and can run the ball against probably their greatest weakness, the Chiefs' greatest weakness, which is stopping the run. If it is a Super Bowl preview, the value in this is similar to when we played St. Louis, the Rams, the first time in the regular season. Then we're able to play them again in the Super Bowl. You gain a lot of information from this experience. But I'd say beating a team like the Saints at this point, with a little bit of an asterisk with no Drew Brees, definitely puts them in the driver's seat.
Listen, people know that what I'm going to say here. The Chiefs have been the favorites all year. Everybody knows that. And they're almost too good to be interesting. Now, the run defense is bad. It's actually worse. I think the Chiefs have the worst run defense in football. They're 26th ranked, but the 6 teams beneath them in the rankings are always behind. So teams just run on them to kill the clock. Teams are trailing the Chiefs, and they're still running effectively. That is a bit of a concern. But I want to throw it back to you quickly, Coach. If Taysom Hill doesn't play, if Drew Brees doesn't play, if Taysom Hill does play, how much do you think the Chiefs coaching staff puts into, we're in even with a loss, we're in driver's seat for the 1 seed. This could be a Super Bowl matchup. We're not going to be able to take anything game film from their offense if Drew Brees isn't out there. If there is a rematch, do we want to hold something in reserve in case there is this matchup in the Super Bowl so they don't have the ability to study us the way we won't have the ability to study them?
I don't think that's going to be the case. If anything, you're gonna try to win the game to make sure that you secure that number 1 seed, and there's no question it's so much more valuable this year than it has been in the past, and so much changes between now and the Super Bowl that you can do what you want to do at this point without projecting out that far, and really by doing that it gives you a lot of excellent information if you do end up facing them a second time in the Super Bowl. And that was what happened with us, and probably the difference in the Super Bowl is all the information we gathered from the mistakes we made with what we thought was our best plan in the first game.
Yeah, Wilds, I'll be quick here. Look, regardless if they win or not, the Chiefs are in the driver's seat. They're that good. They're better than where they were last year. Last year, when you turned on film, what you saw was Mahomes running around and just playing lights out, like plays that you see maybe once every 2-3 years. He was doing it week in and week out. You're not seeing that this year. He's just playing at a high level and playing super consistent. What you're seeing is the Chiefs beating teams in different ways. When you think about the New England Patriots and why they've been able to dominate for so long is because they evolve week in to week out. You don't know how they're going to beat you. You don't know how they're going to attack you. They have a new playbook, it seems, every other week. So I think that's what the Chiefs are evolving to. It's like, okay, you want to take away the pass game, we'll just beat you on the ground. Okay, you want to take away a run, we'll beat you with passes and screens. And they're also playing good defense, good enough defense with Coach Spags. Yeah. Coach Spags, sometimes he's throwing the house at you, Nick, and sometimes he's playing just conservative. Yeah. But I think Coach Spags is good enough to get the job done.
Listen, I'm a little conflicted in this game. I think a loss actually could be good for the Chiefs because they keep playing with fire and trailing opponents and then believing they'll come back. So on one side of the coin, because I think they're 1 seed either way, I think a loss could be good for them. On the other side of the coin, if the Chiefs lose to Taysom Hill, I might have to Oh.
Coach Eric Mangini joining us now. So, Coach, is Bruce Arians right that Tom Brady isn't getting enough credit for what he's doing out there?
Well, when you listen to Bruce talk, and he's wondering why people are criticizing Tom, but yet throughout the course of the season, he's criticized Tom. He questioned his grit in the early part of the season. He talks about how he misses wide open receivers. He says that he gets confused reading coverages. To me, the idea that Tom Brady gets confused reading coverages is amazing. And then to sit back and say, I don't know why anybody's criticizing him. Well, when you open the door by criticizing your quarterback and you create that arena and that pathway, you shouldn't be surprised that it becomes an ongoing topic. And I know people get frustrated with Bill's approach where he doesn't criticize individual players, but it does operate and it does functionally create an environment where those things aren't the focal point of either his press conferences or things in the locker room. So I don't know why he's surprised. Does he deserve some criticism? Of course he does. Any starting quarterback is going to get criticized throughout the course of the season.
So the question I would have for you, Coach, is what's the difference between honesty and criticism? If one of the reasons why everyone loves Bruce Arians is because he's a straight shooter and he tells it like it is, he's like an old Western sheriff. But there was one moment where I was like, oh, you could really take a shot at Tom Brady and you chose not to. Because a lot of this stuff, like Brandon, like earlier in the season, broke it down when he missed Mike Evans. And Bruce Arians was like, that's Tom Brady's fault. And Brandon's like, no, that was the double X. That was the double X smoke route go alpha. That was actually Mike Evans' fault. And Bruce Arians was like, yeah. But we're stuff that normal people can see with the naked eye. When Tom Brady thought there was 5 downs instead of 4, here was Bruce Arians' comment, which I think was really telling that he was protecting Tom. Can we play that, Pep?
Bruce, at the end of the game there, that last drive, it looked like Tom might have been confused with what down it was. Did he not know it was 4th down?
Yeah, he knew. He knew.
So for me, Coach, that shows that he is willing to protect him and he's not criticizing him all the time.
Well, yes, what's the difference between, in terms of criticism and honesty? And I'm fine with people being honest as long as you're honest about your own performance as well. And as long as you're honest about the things that you could have done better. And as a coach, as an offensive coordinator, you have the ability to talk to the quarterback every single play. So you can easily say, hey, Tom, remember now it's 3rd down. We got to do X, Y, and Z. Okay. And to say that he should just know what down it is, of course. But is there a problem with reminding guys? It happens all the time, regardless of how many years someone has in the league. You're constantly coaching and trying to put them in the best position because in the heat of the moment that can be lost, even with the most experienced guys.
All right.
Yeah, well, look, this is a team that was 7-9 last year, and they came in, they brought in Tom Brady, and the expectations are high. When you bring in the GOAT, there's going to be some criticism, right? Because the expectation is for you to perform at a high level every single day in practice, every single day, or every single game. Thursday night football, Sunday night football, we need to see you at your best. And there are times this year where the GOAT, Tom Brady, has underperformed. But here's the deal. I think we missed the fact that and how big not having offseason and preseason is. Coach, we talked about this. You can have hundreds of plays in your playbook, and where you built that chemistry and that continuity is in the offseason. We take our playbook and we break it down into phases. Okay, here's phase 1. We're going to put in the quick game. We're going to install just the fundamentals and the basics. And then as the weeks go by, we start implementing more and more and more. And then we get to training camp come July and we start all over again. So everybody's on the same page. So for Tom to be in this situation where this team was 7-9 last year, they got one more win than they had last year, and they're the 6th seed going into the playoffs, and they can potentially go into the playoffs as one of the hottest teams on a 4-game win streak. I think this is a win. Tom Brady needs to play better in other spots, but at the end of the day, the criticism is warranted. But we also need to highlight how hard it is for this team to come together on the offense, Nick.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I also am fine with us being honest about the Tampa Bay Bucks. We can do, before we show Brady's numbers, we can do a tale of the tape. They have one of the 5 best defenses in football. They're great on that side of the ball. They have an offensive line that at various points this year has been called the best offensive line in the league. They have a stable of running backs, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, hell, Shady McCoy's there. They might have the deepest wide receiver room in the league, and they have 3 legitimate tight ends. What position group did I not mention? Because that sounds like a team that's going to be 13-3. Oh, the quarterback. Let's see how he's doing. Can we show it, please? How's Tom Brady doing? Well, his completion percentage is worse than Dalton's. His yards per attempt is worse than Cam Newton. He's got more picks than Daniel Jones.